As we all know, 2020 was filled with ups and downs. Granted, they were mostly downs given the current state of the world, but hey, I'm getting catalyst forever, right?
Why are we still here?
Some of those ups and downs for me took place during the 2020 Game Awards, and given the fact that you are watching this video, I think some of the events that took place during those Game Awards were mostly downs for you as well. We got to see Fortnite become the Disney of gaming, as one of the gaming industry's biggest names was consumed by Ninja, as well as Red vs Blue characters, pretty much acknowledging the fact that they were bought.
Whoa, you guys new around here?
That's Ninja! It's such an honor. I'm a huge fan of yours on Twitch.
Twitch? Is he twitching because he's blue? Stop making us look at him for the Ninja!
We were also graced with whatever the fuck Jeff Keighley was wearing on his feet. And we were also graced with this literal bullshit.
The Last of Us Part 2.
The Last of Us Part 2.
The Last of Us Part 2.
And now, the Game of the Year award, The Last of Us Part 2.
Whether or not you believe Last of Us 2 deserved those awards are up to you. I personally believe that The Last of Us Part 2, Revenge of the Rewritten Character, didn't deserve all the awards it was presented, as well as the awards given towards Neil Druckmann for Best Director.
What you got there?
Bigot sandwiches.
I personally feel the game was perfectly written. But what do I know? I haven't even played the game because I don't intend to buy a game I know I won't enjoy. So I watched the playthrough, and in my opinion, I think its old school Mortal Kombat-esque message of fighting for revenge equals bad is kind of ass. But whatever. You could have guessed that from the title of the video that my opinion on The Last of Us 2 is less than stellar. But what you could also probably gather from the thumbnail of this video is that the game I do believe should have won the award was Supergiant's game Hades. Quick disclaimer, if you couldn't already tell, this video is highly fucking opinionated and biased. This is more biased than my opinions about Metal Gear Rising, which, from my point of view, is the best game of all time. Objectively speaking, from my point of view, of course.
Like the good old days after 9/11!
Pardon me. So let's get to the actual focus of the video, which despite the total runtime so far, it's not just about my disappointment towards Naughty Dog. It is actually about my love for Supergiant and their gorgeous creation, which is the aforementioned Hades. So what's good about this game? The gameplay, the writing, the aesthetics/themes, the voice acting, the music, the fucking artwork, and the fact that the best girl is a big titty goth milf GF, and the second best is a Tota Dobbs floating Medusa head. But let's start from the top with the gameplay, and spoilers ahead. Sorry, but duh.
Gameplay!
Hades is an isometric roguelite beat-em-up/hack and slash with a near infinite variety of build possibilities. The gameplay shows its developers' roots quite well. Just by simply looking at this glorious creation, you can see the Bastion and Transistor within it. The reason it is a roguelite and not a roguelike is due to the fact that while you are escaping, I'll explain why you want to escape later. While you are attempting your paternal prison break, you'll be collecting resources such as ambrosia, darkness, diamonds, titan blood, and a bunch of other neat stuff. The most important to this conversation of those aforementioned are the titan blood and darkness, as they allow you to upgrade. Titan blood upgrades your weapons, whilst darkness upgrades your character. Zagreus, we'll talk about him in the story segment. In gameplay, you can do a few things. Basic strike, heavy strike, throw your fucking blood, call for aid from a god, dodge, and die. These actions will change depending on what weapon you choose. You got the standard sword, spear, shield, bow, gloves, and gun. You can also have different versions of these weapons to make them more like weapons of Greek legend, as well as, spoiler alert, not so Greek legend further down the line. Rule Britannia! So basically, you can make the sword like Poseidon's sword, and shit like that. But you can also make the gun like Hestia's gun. If Hestia had a gun, she sure as fuck wouldn't be as useless as she is throughout Danmachi. Along your journey, gods from Olympus will offer you their aid, their boons. This pretty much just boils down to gods changing your basic and heavy strikes to have status effects, changing your dodge so it does damage, and allowing you to call upon a certain god's aid during battle, as well as changing what flavour of blood you throw at the eternally damned. And sometimes gods can even buddy up to combine status effects, and as you can only have one boon type per slot, it can get kind of hectic. Hermes is kind of an exception to this because his boons actually change up gameplay a lot more than the rest of the gods in my opinion, as it can let you dodge a fuck ton more and Stuff instead of simple status effects. My favourite status effect, however, is given to you by Ares, the god of war. No, not that one. No, not that one. No, fuck, people really like to design Ares differently. This one, because it can give your attack the status effect of Doom. And Doom does a set amount of damage after time once the enemy is afflicted with it. And how does the game show this? A motherfucking sword of Damocles. Fucking love this shit. K-Project in this bitch. Throughout your struggle to get out of hell, you fight evil beings such as rats.
Rats, we're rats, we're the rats.
A fuck ton of Sir Daniel lookalikes. Hercules from the end of the movie. And Dad. Among others. There are of course boss fights, Dad being one of them, as well as the Powerpuff Girls, Snap, Crackle and Subjugate. There is also a mechanic in the game that is technically post-game, but no, it's weird, so spoilers kinda. The Pact of Punishment. This activates once you've escaped Tartarus, aka the Underworld, or whatever the fuck you want to call it, for the first time, and allows you to make the game as hard as you like, making it the Dark Souls of roguelites.
Why you boring me? I'm right.
You can make bosses harder, spawn more enemies, make enemies do more damage, make items cost more, shit like that. I think that covers the basics for the gameplay itself and the standard gameplay loop itself. Try to escape, fail a bunch, then get good. Escape and say, fuck you Dad, I'll get the milk and cigarettes myself this time. Then game gets harder, you try to escape, probably die again, try to escape again, etc, etc, etc. TLDR, you go from room to room till you reach the exit. If you die, you do it again. If you don't die, you do it again. Now the game's plot. But obviously not all of it because it's pretty good and I want you to play the game, so yeah. Plot, but within reason.
Plot within reason.
Obligatory 17th spoiler alert here. You are Zagreus, a god, son of Hades. That's the name of the game, the ruler of the underworld, as well as the name of the place you're trying to leave, but don't think about it too much. You're kinda cool and strong, and you were supposedly the son of Nyx, the literal embodiment of darkness and shadow, as well as best girl, because she is a goth girl MILF. But then, egods, it is revealed that Nyx is not actually your birth mother. This means two things. Nyx ain't related by blood, and we gotta find out who the birth mother is, as well as where the fuck she is. And all we know is that she ain't in the underworld. So we want to see our birth mother, but Papa doesn't want us to, and doesn't say too much as to why we can't. He doesn't want us finding her. Very Jerry Springer / Maury / Jeremy Kyle-esque. Along our journey out of Tartarus, or whatever the fuck you want to call it, we will meet characters like Junpei, Shinji, and best girl shit, wrong Tartarus. As we continue trying to escape us being grounded in the most literal way possible, with us being underground and all, some Olympian gods will contact us and attempt to try and give us aid to help us reach the surface. As it seems they simply think we're leaving to meet up with them and have like a good bash. Which doesn't sound like a bad time, to be honest. We'll meet gods like Ares, god of war and redesigns. He cannot stay consistent. Dionysus, your cousin, kind of if you read the Greek law, it's really weird. Dionysus, your cousin who hung with a bad crowd in his teenage years and is now in a constant state of drunk. Good old Surfer Uncle Poseidon. Yeah, let's fuck King Neptune, my dude. Surfer Uncle for life. We will also meet Breathing Heavily with Malicious Intent. Zeus! Among quite a few others, to be honest. The way you are told the plot is rarely through cutscenes in the game, as there are very few and far between. The plot itself is told through text-based, voice-acted dialogue, and very well written and very well voiced dialogue, in my opinion. Now here is why it'll take you a good few hours to try and get through this plot and main story of the game. Basically, the game has two kinds of gameplay segments. Number one, home segments, where you will increase your bonds with family members / friends, and in return they will give you trinkets that will increase your stats in the other segments, the actual escape segments, the main chunk of the gameplay. The reason I bring this up in the plot section is, when you start in the underworld, you can only talk to people and further the plot, or get to know more about the characters and further your bonds with them by giving them gifts or talking to them once per visit. So you'll only get one conversation with them per visit to your home in the underworld, as well as only give one gift of nectar / ambrosia per character. By the way, nectar / ambrosia just increases the relationship with a character. It's basically like social links in Persona, but instead of it costing in-game time, it just, in Hades, it costs a jar of fucking custard or something. This one conversation of plot per visit also goes for the Tartarus escape segments, meaning you can only talk to each god once and can only give one gift of ambrosia / nectar per god per escape. Meaning the game rewards you with more dialogue and Greek lore if you have more varied builds, but what this means is that you'll be progressing with the character relationship at a relatively slow pace, as you can only have limited confabs with your chosen waifu per run. I ain't gonna tell you what happens or anything, but it's kinda slow, but it's kinda cool as well. Now to talk about something I haven't been educated in since I played the trumpet terribly in primary school. The music, or more specifically, the soundtrack.
Soundtrack!
If you've watched any of my other videos, you know that my description and analysis of music is quite limited, as I'm not really educated in music, so what I say about the game's OST usually just equates to, it is good, you listen. In that opinion is very much how I feel about Hades OST. Hades is it. Fuck, what? I will have / should have been playing the game's OST throughout the video, and as a result you should have gotten a bit of a feel of what it's like thematically. It suits the tone and atmosphere of the game very well, using a lot of strings like acoustic guitars and harps, lacking a lot of modern and electric shit mostly, very much unlike Transistor. I think this gives off a very traditional, like, I don't fucking know, godly vibe, I don't fucking know. I don't know how to describe it, but just to give it a taste, check out these specific tracks. The main theme, No Escape, as well as Bloodless, which does have more modern guitar riffs, but still works very well. I think, I don't know. Sorry, there's not much for me to say about it. I don't know shit about music. I mean, for fuck's sake, I feel like I'm the only person who still listens to fucking MC Frontalot, besides MC Frontalot himself, so don't take my word as gospel. There's one thing about the OST that I can talk about though, which I genuinely love. One of my favourite tales in Greek mythology and lore is that of, kind of a little spoiler here, but yeah, the great musician Orpheus. In-game, he is the court musician, and as a result, if you give him some nice looking gems, he can write new songs, and shit, he can play them for you at home as well. And I love that. Integrating one of my favourite tales directly into the gameplay, and it's kind of sick. Time to talk about some of the game's cons real quick. This section won't be too long because, you know, I thought this game should have been Game of the Year, so it's obvious I think pretty highly of it.
Cons! Also known as things that are bad.
The first big con is the game's difficulty. This may be a somewhat large hurdle for newcomers to isometric gameplay or roguelites or roguelikes, as you have to beat that first hurdle, which is getting out of Tartarus once, which allows you to then use Spider Alert, the Pact of Punishment, and Spider Alert for getting out of Tartarus, which allows you to customize the difficulty to your preferences. So you have to get out of Tartarus once, and be at least that good at the game consistently, to be able to customize your difficulty. Also, as this game is a roguelite, you will be repeating the same areas over and over again. If you're pretty casual with your game choices, I would still suggest this game, as it is on Steam, Epic Games and Switch for about 20 quid, so it's not AAA price or anything. But right now it's not on PlayStation or Xbox, so I'm not sure if it'll get ported, so if you're on PlayStation or Xbox, I'm sorry, but you're shit out of luck. To someone like me who likes a good Muso or Warriors game, so as a good roguelike or roguelite, I find the gameplay loop of Hades nice and gratifying. You can feel yourself improving as you play the game over time. But if you don't like to sink a good 20 hours at least into a game for the main story, not counting all the side content, which there is a good chunk of, I don't know if this game for you. But I'll still suggest it anyway because Supergiant is cool and deserves your fucking money. At least more so than Naughty Dog right now. There aren't really any problems I have with the game besides its platform availability, which is limited right now. The possible chance of tedium for people who don't like the gameplay loop, which most people enjoy, just look at the reviews. And the difficulty curve, which all new players have to get used to at some point if they want to get into the game. It's still pretty annoying that this game had Game of the Year stolen from its beautiful fucking fingers by The Last of Us Part 2, aka Guitar Hero on the easiest difficulty. Get it? Because there's only 3 colours on easy and she only has 3 fingers at the end, because the game's a lame excuse for a cycle of violence metaphor. Get it? Cool.
In conclusion,
Hades is a game that's being showered with praise right now, but I still think it needs more. It combines Greek lore that I really like with a fast-paced, isometric roguelike gameplay system, with some elements of a life simulator kind of, as you increase your bonds with friends and family, including this handsome 3-headed boy. It may suffer from a difficulty curve, and this game does not hold your hand too much, but to be honest, you probably get so addicted to the game you won't even notice as you quickly improve. It's a great game, and I couldn't suggest it more. Get it, play it, And then if you do that because of this video, find a way to send me a Nick's body pillow, because 2021's starting to get to me already. So with that being said, that is why you should buy Hades, and that's why I thought it should have won Game of the Year 2020.
Now, I'm motivated. Sweet!
Groovy.
I would fuck my legs, I'm not even gonna lie.